Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. It is October 1st, which means it is officially my favorite month of the year. Time for even more Halloween goodness. But first, before we get into lots and lots of Halloween, I have the latest release from A Colorful Life Designs. As you probably know, I share the stencils that I chose to work with for the month on the first of every month. And I encourage you to go to the website, colorfullifedesigns.com, to take a look at all of the other stencils that are released, because I don't pick all of them. I just pick a sampling. And then you can take a look at the card bling. There's over 130 colors and they are all stunning. And you can use my code ALFAN10 to save 10% on everything in the shop, with the exception of the master bundles, because those are already heavily discounted. So now that that stuff is out of the way, let's get into what's inside this fabulous package. I will say that it is already open because I had another release in here. So I wanted to make sure that I had that separated out. We have some card bling here. Look at how pretty. Just one of the many, many colors that you can get. And let's get into October. All right. So when there are stencils that are packaged like this, it means that there are multiple pieces, whether they're a layering stencil set or a stencil and a mask set. And in this case, it is just that. It's a stencil and a mask set. And I think that many of you, even if you've never worked with the Marvelous masks before, there's a ton of them on the website. This might be a set that this could be your gateway. This could be your gateway because it's such a great shape. This is called Marvelous Masks Arch, and there's several in here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 stencils, plus the coordinating masks that go inside. So these are meant to use together. Maybe you're going to stencil this a color, and then you want to do some type of interesting distressing on the outside. Maybe you're making, like, I don't know, a creepy cave or something. So you've stenciled this in black. Let's just make this a little easier for you to understand. Hold on. Okay. Maybe you stencil this in black or a gray or something, and then you want stones on the outside. So you're going to put this in, because it fits perfectly, because it's what came from this stencil. Remove this. Maybe you're going to keep this attached with low-tack tape or temporary adhesive on the back side here. And then you can create whatever you want around it without getting onto the area that you just worked with, or vice versa. However you want to do it is totally fine. But you can do all sorts of things. And then if you want to, you can layer these up and get a bunch of colors all on one. Maybe you don't want to have all 4. Maybe you only want to have 2. Maybe you don't even want to use this piece and you just want to use this piece. There's all sorts of things that you can do with them, and they are wonderful. And it tells you what the sizes are on here. For example, this one is 5.25 inches, then it's 4.75, 4.25, and then 3.75. So that's how that works. Then there is another set, and it has also 4 stencils and 4 masks in it, and you can use them together or separate. So you can get a lot of layers out of this if you choose to. Again, you don't have to, but you certainly can. So I'm not going to open this one up because it's the same idea, but the sizes are different. So this one starts at a 5-inch. Okay, so I highly encourage you to check out the Marvelous masks because they're really clever. You could do all sorts of fun things, and there's a ton of different shapes. Like, for example, I have one that is balloons. I've done a video on it, actually. And just layering them up is a great way to make a quick birthday card just with stencils. So that's your Marvelous Masks Arch in 2 different sets of sizes, and I highly encourage you to check those out. Okay, moving on. We have star dots. How fun is that? Isn't that super cute? Great for birthdays. If you have star dies, for example, Spellbinders has a die set that is just a bunch of stars that I've used pretty recently, and it would work great with this as a background. You can isolate just some of the stars if you want to. Maybe you just want this one with the dots on it. You can even go in with a small pen and just use the dots as a guide. You don't necessarily have to stencil ink blend, you can just use them to kind of help you out. So that's star dots, very cool. It can create a subtle background, or if you did something with like foil or embossing paste, you can make it really pop. Next, we have Baroque Swirl Stencil. Isn't that pretty? This is one of those things that I really love to use with a gel press plate. I also love to use something like this on top of mono prints that I make that might need a little something extra. So I'll go over this with like a metallic embossing paste or an opaque black or white, or maybe even I'll use I'm forgetting the name, but the gel that comes from Thermoweb and then foil on top. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a snowflake. It can just be a really cool design or mandala or something. You know, you can use part of it if you want to, like using just half is really fun. I can see this being done in shades of red and orange. It kind of looks almost flamey to me, and that could be really cool. You could definitely do it in a rainbow, you know, start with red and work your way out to purple or vice versa. Lots of fun things that you can do, different inking techniques. It's really pretty. So that's the Baroque Swirl Snowflake. Last but not least, we have Lacey Snowflakes. These are so pretty. This reminds me of the Queen of Hearts. So if you're an Alice in Wonderland fan, especially like my bestie Kelly, I think that she's going to like this one. Kelly, if you're watching, I'm thinking of you, girl. This is very Queen of Hearts to me. Obviously, there's the hearts here, but then there's this kind of sort of a diamond, and I think that would really be fun with like a checkerboard background. Say maybe you do this whole thing in red, and you have a checkerboard background and maybe some type of Cheshire Cat or an Alice type of image. I think that would be really cool. Maybe some cards. That would be fun. And this is very floral to me. Obviously, this has hearts also, but I don't get Queen of Hearts with this one. This is more of a, this is going to sound off, but like a severe design. It's more angular and has more punch. This is more of like a burst, soft burst. I could see this done in like shades of pink and mint green. Maybe you put a flower right here in the center. It doesn't have to be a snowflake. It could just be a pretty element that you add to your card. And again, you don't have to use the whole thing. Maybe you just want to use a small section of it. You know, don't be afraid to use just parts of things. You definitely don't have to use the whole thing. So those are the stencils that I have for this month. I hope that you're going to check out what I make with them all. They are lovely. And again, I encourage you to check out the Marvelous Masks and all of the card bling that is available on the A Colorful Life Designs website. Don't forget to use my code ALFAN10, and I will be back very soon with another video. And there's always lots more posted on my blog, so make sure you visit my blog. I will see you all very soon. Be well, stay safe, peace out.